talking about yesterday's sermon.
All right.
Which sermon do you want to talk about, today's or yesterday's?
Today's isn't really ready yet.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Well, we looked at Luke 20, 27 through 40, the trap of the intellectual. Now, you talked about the marriage issue. Will we be married in heaven?
Yeah.
You talked about wanting to spend a lot of time with Whitney.
Yes.
I'm just wondering, can I get a little time?
Yes, I've blocked off the millennium for you, so you and I are good.
Wow,
not
great.
that much time. It's eternity, Ben.
So it's pretty small.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know whether to be encouraged or disappointed by that.
Me too. Yeah, it is neat to think about. And actually, I had this thought too. I think there are some people I annoy here, and probably don't want to spend a lot of time with me. And it'll be interesting to see how heaven goes. Like, I know I won't annoy them, but will they have different levels of enjoyment of spending time with me in heaven? That's a different issue.
Yeah.
So,
nonetheless, good to think about.
Yeah.
So,
I'm a pessimist.
Yeah. Well, on the marriage front with the sermon, there is a question here. Let's see. Let me find it here. Related to marriage. Do you remember what it was? I'm trying to remember what it was now.
Just in terms of, there are a couple of questions that people asked me or we're talking about.
Yeah. One of them was, you said that our marriage here in this world prepares us for how we will relate to Christ. Is that the right word?
Right.
And so it's a very practical question of what actually do we do in our marriage that will prepare us for heaven? Is it a wife submitting to a husband? Is it a husband serving his wife? What actually are we doing practically that prepares us?
Right, and the idea is that as I am successful at pursuing oneness in marriage, my ability, my capacity to enjoy the glory and oneness with God increases as well. And I think there's a couple ways that happens. One, just obedience. Obedience in any area of life to God is going to increase your knowledge of God and your experience of God and your ability to enjoy Him then in heaven.
Sure.
But I think there's something unique also that takes place within the marriage relationship where we learn what oneness looks like, and our ability to see the biblical picture of oneness in marriage prepares us for eternity and enjoying oneness with God. And so, Paul calls it a mystery in Ephesians, and it is a mystery how exactly it all plays out. But we know that it's a picture of the union between Christ and His church, and as we experience it here, we're going to enjoy it more fully in heaven.
Okay. And we got some questions about heaven and just what heaven will be like. You brought a resource with you.
Yeah, this book is called Heaven. It's heavy, and it's called Heaven by Randy Alcorn.
Yeah.
And there's also a Heaven for Kids that I've bought for my kids. And he uses what he calls a sanctified imagination at some points, because there are points where he has to speculate on what is taking place. But it's a good resource for people who want to know more about the state of heaven.
Yeah, and was there any questions you got about heaven in particular that you wanted to address?
Yeah, several. I remember there were two kind of issues we were struggling with. One was the overarching issue of, am I going to allow my intellect, my worship of my intellect, to prevent me from knowing God? And the other was the test case of the resurrection, where that played out for the Sadducees. And I got several good questions about heaven. One was, will we recognize our spouses in heaven, or will we recognize our friends and family? And I think the answer is yes. Paul tells the people in Thessalonica, we don't grieve like those who have no hope. We have this hope that we'll be reunited and we'll be able to continue the relationship that's begun here in heaven. Someone asked, there's a lot of practical questions about heaven. Someone asked me, will there be cuddling in heaven or hugging? And I said, well, I hope so. There's going to be some sort of the same emotional experience we have from physical contact with other people. That's going to be experienced in some way in heaven. What we're experiencing now is a shadow of what we're going to experience someday in heaven.
And no matter what's true or what's like today and what's not, we're going to have a great time.
Yeah.
It's going to be
no
wonderful.
letdowns.
Yeah,
right.
no letdowns. That's right. Well, we do hope that these short videos do help you to apply the sermon. People are very observant in these videos. Someone noticed that I didn't have my wedding ring on last week. I found it. My wife found it.
Yeah.
So good job.
No marriage in heaven, but wedding rings now are pretty important. So
and thankfully I still have mine.
Yeah.
So,
good job.
Yeah. So anyway, thanks Daniel.
Yeah.
See you next time in the Post Sunday app.